That is my position here on earth. And you guys don't know that yet, but I can command the elements to send whirlwinds all around and destroy shit. I already told you guys that, and I don't want to do that because it's nothing to be proud of. What I'm here to do is not let that happen. That's why I be giving these lectures to show everybody what it is that got us in all the trouble that we in right now. And the universe want me to make it very perfectly clear that there's no time for bullshit stagnation. The change back to a God path has to be very rapid, and it has to be done with sincerity, not because of fear. It's got to be done because you know in your heart that you've been misled, and now you want to repair all the bad karma that you created for yourself just because that's the type of person you are and your cosmic makeup, not because you're afraid that you're going to go to hell. It's because you love people on earth so much that you want to give back everything that you've taken and more. This is how you start returning to your God self. Right there. About how you think.
Basically come through the portals. And when they do, they tell people they're aliens, or they tell people they're gods, or they tell people that they came.
See, now look.
When it comes to these beings, you know, aliens are two types. You know, aliens, as what people will know them, are actually fallen angels, and fallen angels have.
Ray Kurzweil, all of them, that they're going to merge with the machines, blast off into hyperdimensional space, and that's why they're so crazy. That's why they want to get rid of us. That's why they're smiling and giddy and acting so nuts, because they believe, if you're a psychiatrist and are hearing this, understand, whether it's real or not, they believe they are in contact with these entities and are being directed by them. That's why they're so evil. And the entities are telling them eternal life, total power, total control, everything you could ever want. Just kill everyone. Set up a world government. Build this design we're telling you. Build what we're telling you. Build this. Build this. Let us through. Build the Hadron Collider. Open the dimensions. Let us in. We're going to really help you. We're friendly little guys.
They'll think for 1 minute they come from a planet. Next thing you know, well, you know, we didn't come from that planet. We came from.
So now who's the people that they've been talking to that's been giving them all these skulls and giving them all this stuff that they could talk about? It's not these people that's here now. I agree that they've been having interaction with some time travelers. I agree. I have no doubt about that in my mind. But they have not been interacting with the same ones I've been interacting with, because the ones that I've been having interaction with were the ones that was here all the time. I never would have started drinking alcohol. I never would have started smoking cigarettes. I never would have been foolish to go out there and be promiscuous, having sex with every woman that would have me, which wasn't a lot. But I'm just saying it was too many. And then my thing is, it still wouldn't have been no problem as to where babies getting aborted, lack of jobs, when we know that in the destruction of the earth, all this stuff came with whatever package of visitors they're talking about. All that did occur with them. We from one planet, we from another planet. The same deceit they got exposed to is the same deceit they exposed the rest of the world to. So ain't nobody trying to act like they crazy when they give you that story. I totally believe it too. My point is this. There's millions of people out there that has the ability to go from one planet to another planet. But the ones I talk to go through galaxies.
Another planet, and oh, we didn't come from that planet. Oh yeah, we did come from a dimension, but you know what I mean? And so they lie. You know, they've been lying for like centuries. So the thing is, when you look into them, when you really, you know, get some guts and decide to, you know, investigate them, and you find out where do they come from by simply, you know, doing the things that investigative science taught us, which is to investigate, you know, origin, investigate matter, investigate movement, investigate all these things that would make a person or defy what a person is. You know, how you can tell something is a dog and what a dog does and where a dog goes and what a dog eats and what a dog does in terms of, you know, its lifestyle. And so when you do that with, you know, so-called alien study, guess what you find out? You find out they don't come from another planet. You find out that they don't move galactically. You find out that they move interdimensionally. They move through parallel portals. When we talk about like Enoch, when we talk about what makes Enoch so important? Why, what's the big deal about Enoch? Why is everybody going toward the book of Enoch? There's two reasons why. What happened in Enoch's time is happening now in our time. And that's scary. Because what happened in his time was pretty messed up. Okay, so what we had that occurred in Enoch's time was that there were rulers that were on that earth, powerful rulers who were worshiping evil spirits. These evil spirits told these rulers that they came from another planet and that they were going to solve their problems for them and that there was more God than just the one true God. And so they believed in that for like hundreds.
Okay, listen to what he said. See, I smell a rat. And there was more gods, but the one true God. And the one true God that he's talking about, we all know, I ain't going to say no names, but that one true God, according to the teachings of these people, is responsible for all the atrocious things he's getting ready to try to say happened with these people. Watch what I tell you. For some reason, these people going to be responsible for being enticed by these aliens to be wicked people that probably enslaved people, oppressed people, had false incarcerations, homelessness, homosexuality, rape, whole nations genocide, people burned at the stake, people hanged, people castrated, all the stuff that he's going to try to tell you happened in the book of Enoch. It's the shit that's happening right now. And guess what? We're not going to give credit to that to the freaking space people coming down here making us do that. We did that ourselves. Because I'm going to tell you why. Ain't never been no alien gave me a beer. Ain't never been no alien gave me no weed. No alien ain't never called me no nigga. Every encounter I had with these light people that I know I have encounter with has been divine. So I don't care what page you're on. I'm just sharing my secret with you about what I know about these people. I'm not going to let him try to perpetuate them being evil when we know the Nazis and the Zionists is right here on earth doing the shit. He's trying to make you take your focus off of them and look at somebody else. They good at that. It's called deception. The same thing he's going to try to make somebody else guilty of doing.
Of years for a while, and these were like descendants of even Seth.
See,
and
these the divine people up in on earth right here.
Over time, all these rulers were worshiping and not taking warning from the other sons of God. Those entities backstabbed them. And what happened is that the more and more the rulers worshiped them, and
that's not true. The entities in his lights did not backstab them. The ones who backstabbed them were the Caucasian men. They came and got taught the knowledges that the people in the light gave to the Egyptians. And once they were taught the knowledge, see, like they want to show you here, the lab brainwash. See, white man flying with wings and a sword, coming in with the sunlight. Same brainwash. See them all falling, they done had a big war. These is white men with wings. Pictorial, anthropomorphic beings. And zoomorphic too, if you will, because they have wings like birds, having a war with the sunlight behind them. It's just plagiarized hypocrisy. What's really going on is that the light ships that's here right now push this white man with the wings out of the picture and put the light ship there, and you see all these falling devils down here on the ground. That's the corrupt governments of this planet.
More and more they got control over what they did. It allowed those entities to enter further and further into our world to the point where they received enough energy and enough permission from these rulers to literally enter our stratosphere. And when they entered our stratosphere, they came in full invasion force.
Now see how ridiculously stupid that is? Okay, so what he's saying is that for some reason or the other, it took mankind on earth to open up the portal. That we see portals opening up by themselves now. We ain't got nothing to do with that. They just open up by themselves. But for some reason, it was man who somehow gave permission for these entities to come to the earth and create this system of corruption that's on our planet. See, this is the type of brainwash stuff that we have to stop listening to. All right? First of all, the only way that you're going to get yourself personally involved into some type of crazy stuff that you didn't want to get involved with is by listening to foolish rhetoric from someone else that will tell you After you see the portal open up, it's more to that. And then give you stuff on paper that you should pay attention to, more than the fact that you done seen that portal open. More than you see the constellation of stars moving around. All they give you is sketches, sketches, sketches. Look, sketches. That's all. When you have a true nature to be paying attention to. Stop yourself from being brainwashed by looking at nature for your answers instead of listening to foolish sketches. Everything that I tell you, I can back up. I can show you the sunlight having interactions with me to take to the whole world, yes, this is my prophet. Yes, he is. You can see the way I live my life. More corroboration to my story. Even if somebody do want to lie and try to say I'm a thief and this and that and all that stuff, that they always plan on black men and white men too, but always us, because they try their best to keep themselves in position by lies and corruption and abuse of power.
The book of Revelation tells us that's going to happen again. We are living in the stage where the beginning of that is already happening.
So what we put this pit.
Okay, well, that's not hard to believe, but the book of Revelation also says that Revelation is supposed to be the end. So what is this, the second Revelation right now? And then I guess here's Hitler shaking hands with the aliens, so the aliens will be responsible for all the horrible shit Hitler did, and not his white ass when he the one that did it. See, it wasn't, again, even in the garden, it wasn't the white man, it was Eve and the serpent. Okay, and even now, he's trying to weasel his ass out, and now he's going to blame it on the alien. It's a damn shame.
Here is Hitler basically meeting up with that fallen entities, and that was basically irregular for him. He had a very large interest in basically following them and basically communicating with them and basically talking to them.
The only problem is they never told us all this shit until the aliens showed up and started whooping their ass.
And these beings were, very much part of the plan and the destruction of World War II. You'd be amazed at the fact there was a lot of attacks in World War II that they actually took part in, that history tries to cover up or tries to bury. I mean, if you look back at maybe 15 years from 9/11, so many people will have a different view and a different explanation to that. But
well, I've heard stories myself that not only in recent modern times that there's been help from above for these Nazis on this planet. We know even the battle, old school battles of Egypt, that there was help given to the European men from the alien forces that came to the earth and showed them the knowledge and the technology that they have to do evil things. My point is this: do I want to support the fact that it might be a set of non-autonomous people here that is giving information to the controlling Europeans of this planet? Yes, I believe that 100%. I truly do. Is there an alien behind Hitler? As you can see, the same type of picture right here again, right? Okay, except I don't know who that is right there, but as you can see, it's the same thing that we just saw, except in that picture it was a known personification of Hitler, but as you can see, another alien. So is there a possibility that that could be going on? Yeah, but would they really shake hands with each other and pose and get it on film? No. What about books? What if they found books that they could read and utilize the information in the books to create the type of evil machinery that they created by reversing the information that was given to create a divine society? And what if in the book was also information of the people who wrote the book having visits with extraterrestrial beings that were good beings that taught divine actions? They get it and plagiarize it and make the aliens that is God and brought divine actions to the Nile Valley civilization, all of a sudden become evil people, just like they made the pharaohs become evil. And everybody on the earth is evil, including their own woman, but them. And I ain't saying that to be mean. I'm just saying it because it's the truth. So the truth is that the person who threw the down rock through the window is probably the person with his hand stuck in his pocket.
But when it all comes down to it, the Bible tells us that fallen entities are involved in our leaders, and our leaders shake hands with them and greet them and, are happy to see them. Hitler is also very much involved with the 13 council members, and so he's very much a guy who reports to them. And this is one picture that you're looking at right here. This photograph was actually snapped, I believe, during an attack at Antarctica. I kid you not. Hitler didn't die in 1945. He actually died later on after World War II because he was hidden in that base for a while. This was photographed of a shot of one of the UFOs, if you will, one of the Virginia aircraft planes that attacked an aircraft carrier. Right before it decided to unleash a hail of missiles on it, one of the soldiers snapped a picture of it.
Okay, listen to this. These spacecrafts right here that they tell you was attacking those Nazi ships out on the ocean, I believe that because you know what? I just showed you footage of them blowing up stuff out on the ocean right now. In modern day time, flipping over those Italian cruise ships, making all these cruise ships run their ass out of the water. This is what they're doing. They showing these European men that has been controlling the waterways with their submarines and the aircraft carriers and just harassing everybody on the planet. They're showing them who really owns this universe, all right? Okay, now, this stuff that's going on is going on only because the universe want everybody's attention and want everybody to know I'm not playing. Okay, you think you're going to be stealing money from everybody, pimping and abusing everybody, telling your lies, taking advantage of people. Got people living in alleys when you have empty houses. And these are the people that I love. I love these. These are my children. And this is going to stop. So you know what they're doing? They're harassing them and destroying their commercialism, destroying their money, destroying their militaries, all of that stuff. So they are not bad people. And when this thing was out there in the 40s and in World War I, bombing their ass and tearing their ass up then, yeah, it was going on. And it's still going on. And it's probably going to go on every time some corrupt government think they're going to come on the earth and pimp everybody and make everybody be their slaves when the universe has made this planet for people to come here and have experiences in so they could grow and return to them God's self. And a part of the experiences require that you have to deal with oppressive, fascist bastards, then so be it. And that's what's going on. So get your experience and get out. And the best experience you can get is the knowledge of the experience. So don't try to overlook this stuff that's happening and tell yourself that it's not. Because it is. And it ain't got a damn thing to do with Jesus. It got a lot to do with evil. They got perpetuated through the inventor of a Jesus propaganda of spiritual bondage bullshit.
And, these are the things that you got to really wrap your mind around, because when you don't wrap your head around it, you're going to get very caught up in it. This is also the same deal. What you're looking at our leaders, and our leaders shake hands with them and greet them and, are happy to see them. Hitler is also very much involved with the 13 council members, and so he's very much a guy who reports to them. And this is one picture that you're looking at right here. This photograph was actually snapped, I believe, during an attack at Antarctica. I kid you not. Hitler didn't die in 1945. He actually died later on after World War II because he was hidden in that base for a while. This was photographed of a shot of one of the UFOs, if you will, one of the Virginia aircraft planes that attacked an aircraft carrier. Right before it decided to unleash a hail of missiles on it, one of the soldiers snapped a picture of it. And, these are the things that you got to really wrap your mind around, because when you don't wrap your head around it, you're going to get very caught up in it. This is also the same deal. What you're looking at the bottom with the heat source is very much the fuel injection of the plane, or the Virginia. This is also another photo shot of the Virginia. And what you're looking at right here is kind of what I'm talking about here is some of the engineering components of some of these Viminias. They have a circular fusion type of power, and it's right at the center of the Viminia. And basically fusion, that's basically using type of nuclear fusion with water, and basically sends it into a lot of hyperactive speeds. And it's just very, very advanced. And it just show you just how advanced we were in World War II, which would even implicate to you now just how more advanced we are now, and how so much of that is not shown.
Well, I'm glad he said we, because remember, he was the one himself who said that the aliens were from hell, and we can see who the alien technology is being. These same aliens that's from hell, we can see who's been receiving the information to make machineries to be synonymous with the behaviors of someone from hell. Because now these machineries that you see these European males making from the technology they get from these aliens that they say is from hell, let's take a look at it and see what it all is.
And what you're looking at here is another case of that. You can see how sleek they build these Viminias, and you can see how well they've gotten to the point of building them. They're nowhere near to the point where they used to be, but they've gotten there now. A lot of this was help from the fallen angels, because our rulers by that point did not have a lot of mental capacity behind this, and so they had to be retaught how to rediscover their own inventions, which is very sad. But you know, it's the making of their own doing. If you look very closely at this, you'll notice I believe it's a 50 cal machine gun that was built at the bottom of this one. And what you notice with these things is that they're usually machine guns that are basically placed inside the Viminia, and then they're released to come out and then to be used upon other people, basically to open fire on people.
Well, we know who's got the gun fetish, don't we?
Military strength of these things. You have something as well here. You got a guy standing on top of one. And what you have here is also another one too. And as you can see, it's pretty much parked there. If you notice the Rolls Royce that is near this UFO, it's to show you that, you know, the elite were the ones that were privy to this type of stuff. They were the ones that were there to watch it and look at it and examine it and admire it. And what we have here is the same angle, same deal. And this is probably one of the very well-known ones. And one of the things I need to mention about this thing is that a lot of the times when they were launching these Viminias, a lot of the Viminias were to be launched to go into the planets, basically to the moon, Mars, other places, other secret locations on Earth. Many times they called in witches to basically conjure up demons for them, to guide them or direct them certain portalways that they would fly the instruments into, and then come back in and out. A lot of things in their world is not what you would think. It's a lot more worse than that. And same thing that you have here. You had one basically hovering up about with airplanes basically hovering over it. And what you have here is another base basically.
See, this is what I tell you about sketches. You know, that's all they're giving you is sketches. You know, you can't go on sketches. You can't. When they just start giving you a bunch of sketches like this, it's time to get suspicious.
The design of a base, but it's basically a design of an energy source. If you look at all the contraptions that are connected to the triangle points, those are called energy bars. And with these energy bars, basically, they're like giant transformers that can fuse powerful energy. And they all connect, kind of like a wiring. And all the energy will be centered to the center of the main core of the energy source. And what you're looking at here is what they used to do with pyramids a long time ago. And now they've invented the circular type formations. And all these things are about energy sources and advanced technology. This is also a blueprint of a Biminia, how to build one and how to construct one. You'll notice some things about it. Biminias usually are about, they have basically 3 levels or 3 floors. You have a top level where that's where the operations, flying, things like that. And you have a bottom level. One is for laboratories. Another, well, laboratories will be right at the bottom. And the middle sections are their homes, basically where they sleep in and where they rest. And this is a model for a really big giant one. This is the Nazi base. And what we have with this base, it's very old. It was built in the starting building construction on it was in the 40s, late 30s to the 40s. And right now, it's one of the most advanced colonies on the moon. It has technology that would literally blow your mind away. Right now, there's about 2 million people living on there, on that base. It's actually a city, and it's very, very big, very huge. You have literally advanced space-age technology there. It's one of the last things left of the Reich Empire of Hitler. It's now part of the Rothschild Illuminati colonies, and they control it right now. And it's basically their moon base, and it's just very, very advanced. The swastika building, as you're seeing, is very huge, and there's so much more in that area that's very much shrouded in the darkness. But if you were to get on the ground level, you'll see just how huge and massive this thing is, and just how big it really is. The top part of it is a huge satellite on top, and just very, very advanced, filled with aircraft hangars. And
it sounds a real tad bit egoistic to me. I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, if you were going to build a structure like that on the moon, it would be more economical to build it in a formation that would keep it more centered together closely, so you could have defense for one another and also save on construction costs. This right here seemed to me like just a perpetuation of egoism. This type of brainwashing European ego is so acceptable for this documentary I'm looking at right now that it's pathetic. They will want you to believe in this type of greatness. They can go to the moon and build this type of structure up there and be living there so great as to where they can use their acceptance of their icon as a format to build a moon fortress. I mean, no real significance other than the fact that it's their icon of German superiority. So when we go to the moon, even though it's not practical to stretch our perimeter this far and have to protect all this stuff from possible adversity, you know, we won't stay centered, which is the normality of Europeans mostly, inside of a close huddled group. No, we're going to stretch miles of this stupid layout all over the moon so we could find places of vulnerability. And see, it's just ridiculously typical from egoism. That's all it is. Egoism.
all kinds of other advanced technology there.
Okay, do I believe that maybe someone could have built an installation on the moon? Yes, I do. But why would you stupidly pick something like that?
Basically,
that's not a geometric formation for something that you build in that far away. Where did they get the materials and the leisure and the luxury to just waste time and effort to just make that stupid icon? That's what I'm talking about.
What they were trying to do was, they know that in the occult that certain mirrors scare off evil spirits because they don't like to look at themselves in a mirror, which is another reason why evil spirits like to appear as the host or some other entity or person. Their real true form is so horrifying that it even horrifies them. And so that was the aim at setting up the mirror. But the mirror was so, how do I say, it's just so amateur. You know, they were basically using folding mirrors, and it just wasn't a smart idea. I think it was just more done out of panic, you know, one of those things.
No, what it was typical, if it even happened. See, when you're not a knowledgeable person, you would go to religious acts. And that's what that is. It's superstition. It's a superstitious belief that if an ugly ass spirit looks in the mirror and sees itself, he'll be scared of itself. That's the type of reaction you see with a dog looking in the mirror. But a cat ain't that stupid. A cat will look in the mirror at itself and know that it's itself. But an ignorant person will believe that a spook will look in the mirror and be ugly, so ugly it scares itself. That comes from childhood, nightmarish conceptualizations right along with Santa and Jesus. And these is astronauts that take this foolishness to the moon with them. I could puke. I mean, this is the Earth, most brightest people that they would select to go to another planet, and then they come up with this type of bullshit when they get there. That's why we're so dumb here on Earth.
As you do, where you're so scared, just figure out the next thing to do. And what you have here is the same deal. They were basically on a base, and they're in basically a facility that's mostly underground, but it has a few